movie begins with a note, based on a true story, about a demonic bride ritual that once shocked the entire online community in Indonesia. The story revolves around the main character, Ranti, who is the daughter-in-law of the most respectable family in the area. Every morning she goes to the market to sell chickens to earn extra income for her child's education. Ranti has a sister-in-law named Siti. Even though both of them are daughters-in-law in the family, she often picks fights and bullies her sister-in-law. In contrast, the youngest sister, Gita, seems understanding and is always by Ranti's side. Her husband is Bawo, the eldest among 3 siblings in the family. Their mother is old and frail and can only sit in a wheelchair. Every morning after selling at the market, Ranti also has to cook and help with housework. The younger sister-in-law, Siti, because she is pregnant, doesn't have to do anything. Her husband, Bayu, is a young man who likes gambling and cockfighting, so all the work falls on Ranti. The mother-in-law constantly scolds her, saying she's not a good daughter-in-law for failing to manage the small household chores. Ranti, though very sad, still tries to endure. The story begins one day when Ranti, being busy, asked her youngest sister Gita to help take her daughter Nina to school. The girl had a leg disability since birth, so she had to wear a special device to move. Ranti then went with her husband to the harbor, where he had to work far from home for over a week. She told him all the grievances she had endured, and blamed him for not protecting or speaking up for her. He only apologized and said he would pay more attention next time. The two then parted ways at the harbor. Ranti did not know that while her husband was away, something terrifying was about to happen to her. When she returned home, she received terrible news that her daughter had just had an accident and was in the hospital. Ranti rushed there immediately. The doctor informed her that the girl had a serious accident and needed surgery to survive. Hearing the news, Ranti was stunned and sat blankly in the hospital hallway for hours. Suddenly, an old woman came to talk to her. She seemed to understand Ranti's current situation and said that if she wanted to save her daughter besides relying on the doctor, there was another way she could try. Then the old woman gave Ranti a piece of paper and left. The next day, she went home and informed her family that her daughter needed a large amount of money for surgery and hoped everyone could help. Her youngest sister, Gita, tried to convince the family to sell the house for money, but the mother-in-law and others refused, saying they couldn't help at all. Ranti was extremely disappointed when she saw their true faces. In her confusion and desperation, she suddenly remembered the letter the old woman gave her. She opened it and saw inside was a map leading to the old woman's house. Without thinking, that night she drove to meet the old woman for help. The woman then guided her through a ritual to summon a demon, to form a pact with it in exchange for her wishes. This ritual was like a wedding ceremony. The old woman killed a black chicken and placed its organs into Ranti's mouth, then slowly led her into a bridal chamber, saying that from now on she officially became the demon's wife. It would grant her everything she desired. The old woman stepped outside and began chanting loudly. Behind Ranti, a grotesque hand suddenly appeared, slowly touching her body. After a long night, the ritual was complete. The old woman required Ranti to kill a chicken every week and bury its head and organs around the house as offerings. The next morning, her brother-in-law Bayu went to the chicken coop and couldn't find his favorite chicken. Bayu asked his wife, but she didn't seem to care. At that moment, Ranti suddenly returned home with her daughter in the car, whose legs were now perfectly fine. The whole family couldn't believe their eyes when they saw the girl completely normal, showing no signs of a recent terrifying accident. Ranti said it was a miracle, but the younger sister Siti felt something was suspicious. In the days that followed, she began to notice Ranti, who always kept her room completely shut at home, not letting any sunlight in. Siti found it strange and came to ask, but the girl just silently sat watching the TV even though nothing was on the screen. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Siti went to open it and was startled to see Ranti and her daughter. She rushed to the backyard, but the person who was just sitting there had vanished. Siti told this story to the youngest sister Gita, believing that her sister-in-law had done something shady to cure her daughter. However, Gita thought Siti was just seeing things. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, Siti felt hungry and went to the kitchen to make noodles. She opened the window and was horrified to see dozens of frogs outside. Suddenly, one of them jumped into the boiling pot. Terrified, Siti quickly stabbed it to death and threw it out. At that moment, the back door suddenly burst open. Siti anxiously went to check, then heard Ranti laughing loudly in the bathroom. Seeing her sister-in-law behaving so bizarrely, she took out her phone and secretly recorded it, then shared it in the marketplace chat group to shame her. The next day, the video of Ranti spread all over the market, causing many to gossip, saying the girl had gone insane. Ranti, upon hearing the news, was furious. She grabbed a knife and confronted Siti for answers. Siti didn't hide it, and admitted she was the one who filmed the video, even challenging Ranti, telling her to go ahead and try to stab her if she dared. The girl immediately swung the knife, but was stopped by the youngest sister, Gita. Seeing everyone staring at her, Ranti quickly threw away the knife and walked off. That evening, Bayu returned home after a day out, went straight to bed without caring about his wife. Siti, feeling dejected, went to the kitchen to cook noodles. Suddenly, Ranti appeared right behind her, as if possessed by someone else, with a creepy smile on her face. She placed her hand into the boiling water, pulled out the remains of a frog, and ate it ravenously. Siti was horrified at the scene. She hurried into the bedroom to wake her husband and tell him what happened. But as she pulled back the blanket, she was shocked to see Ranti inside. Ranti lunged at her, stabbing Siti in the stomach with one hand and choking her with the other until she stopped breathing. The next morning, Bayu entered the room and couldn't find his wife. He and the rest of the family searched everywhere, but Siti had seemingly vanished without a trace. The mother advised them to keep the matter quiet for now and not tell anyone at the market. After everyone left, only the mother remained at home. Suddenly, her wheelchair moved on its own. Behind her, the ghost of Siti appeared, but when she turned around, the girl had disappeared without a trace. That night, Nina was playing alone in the yard. The youngest sister, Gita, was plucking feathers from chickens to prepare for tomorrow's delivery. Suddenly, the girl heard strange noises coming from the trash pit behind the house. Gita walked over and tried to record with her phone camera when the screen suddenly captured something floating in midair. Meanwhile, Nina, while chasing her toy, accidentally walked into the bathroom. Suddenly, Ranti emerged from the tub with a terrifying face, causing Nina to scream.
Nina?
Gita heard it and rushed over, unaware that the ghost of Siti was standing right in front of her. She arrived to find Nina sobbing, saying her mother looked scary, as if she had become a different person. The next morning, Ranti went into the chicken coop to steal a chicken, beheaded it, and used its organs to scatter around the house, as the old woman had instructed. When she reached the trash pit behind the house, she was horrified to find Siti's body beneath. Only then did the girl remember the terrible thing she had done. That night, Ranti hurried to meet the old woman for answers. The woman said that the demon wasn't just her husband, but also her protective charm. Anyone who dared to touch the girl or make her angry would be killed by the demon. Ranti was shocked to realize this curse would cling to her forever and could not be broken. Meanwhile, Bayu was still cheerfully betting on cockfights despite Siti's disappearance. While sitting among the cheering crowd, he suddenly saw his wife appear briefly, then vanish again. Bayu thought he was seeing things and quickly chased after her, but saw no one around. Just then, someone from the group informed him that his chicken had lost the match and was dead. Bayu later brought the chicken's body home and intended to bury it under the tree in the backyard. Suddenly, he smelled something foul. He walked to the trash pit and was horrified to discover his wife's corpse beneath. Furious, Bayu rushed to confront Ranti, accusing her of killing his wife. Ranti was terrified and couldn't speak a word. The youngest sister, Gita, had to step in to stop the fight. When the mother found out, she not only didn't report it to the police, but even advised her son to secretly bury the body and not let outsiders know, fearing it would ruin the family's reputation. Though heartbroken, Bayu obeyed his mother's wishes. After burying his wife behind the house, he suddenly saw Ranti walking alone into the chicken coop. Bayu immediately followed her, but by the time he arrived, she had vanished. Confused, suddenly his whole body seemed to be controlled by something, and he slammed his face into the window, causing one of his eyes to be pierced by a sharp glass shard. Panicked, Bayu hadn't even run away yet when his entire body was lifted into the air and violently slammed to the ground. His chicken suddenly appeared out of nowhere and bit into his remaining eye, blinding him completely. Now blinded, Bayu staggered out seeking help when the metal roofing suddenly collapsed from above. Sliced in half, he died instantly. After killing Bayu, Ranti immediately returned to normal, The girl was horrified to see her brother-in-law lying dead in front of her. Gita heard the noise and rushed over. Seeing the horrifying scene, she chased after Ranti to demand answers. But the girl quickly ran into her room and locked the door, warning her younger sister not to bother her, or she would be the next victim. The two deaths happening back-to-back made Gita extremely worried. She consulted her mother and suggested inviting a spiritual medium to the house for help. That night, the medium arrived as invited. By then, Ranti seemed to have been completely possessed by the demon, turning her into a raving lunatic, unable to control her speech. The medium demanded the demon leave the girl's body, but it showed no interest at all. Instead, it displayed its power right in front of him. Realizing the demon was beyond his ability, the medium quickly left in fear, reminding Gita to regularly chant Buddhist scriptures, as that was the only thing she could do now. Days later, Ranti's condition worsened. Bo had finally returned home. After learning what had happened, he refused to believe his wife was the culprit. He rushed to find her to talk, but no matter how much he called, she wouldn't open the door. Late at night, while sleeping in the living room, Bao suddenly heard Ranti giggling playfully in her room. He peeked in and saw his wife happily cuddling with someone. Suddenly, a terrifying hand appeared out of nowhere, touching the girl's body as Bao watched closely. Then a pair of terrifying eyes stared out from inside, startling him. Realizing Ranti was truly possessed by a demon, Bo had no choice but to temporarily tie her up in the bathroom. Gita remembered seeing her sister-in-law speaking to a strange old woman at the hospital, thinking she was the one who caused all of this. The two of them returned there to search, but found no trace at all. Meanwhile at home, Nina, worried about her mother, brought food to her alone. By then, Ranti had been fully possessed by the demon and no longer recognized her daughter. She laughed loudly and said she craved cookies, asking the little girl to go find some and bring them. Naively, Nina agreed. Moments later, when she returned, she was shocked to find her mother had disappeared. Suddenly, the grandmother's loud scream rang out from her room. Nina ran over and was horrified to see she had been killed, her body mangled. Terrified, the girl ran off to hide. Soon after, Bao and Gita returned. Both were in disbelief upon seeing the mother's corpse, assuming Ranti was the killer. They split up to search for her. Gita ran into the room and found her there, her face covered in blood and terrifying. Gita grabbed a plate from the table and hit Ranti in the head, but she was completely unharmed and instead attacked Gita back, injuring her and knocking her unconscious. As for Bao, while searching for his wife, she suddenly dropped down from the rooftop, slashing his neck with scissors. Bao charged at her with all his strength, trying to defeat the demon, but he was no match for it. The demon lunged and stabbed Bao in the chest, saying, "I am her real husband." When Ranti regained her consciousness, she was shocked to see Bao had already died. Before she could do anything, the demon took control of her again. Seeing Nina nearby, it intended to attack the little girl, but Gita rushed in just in time to save her. The demon, enraged, tried to kill Gita, but Nina screamed out her mother's name, begging her to return to who she was. The girl cried, saying she'd rather lose her legs than see her mother like this.
Nina lebih baik sakit lagi dan gak punya kaki.
Her daughter's words stirred the consciousness buried deep within Ranti's mind. Awakening, she saw the light at the end of the tunnel and followed her daughter's voice, finally regaining control. Realizing it was too late to turn back, Ranti decided to sacrifice herself to drag the demon into the grave with her. She entrusted her daughter to Gita, poured gasoline on herself, said her final goodbye, and lit the fire, burning her body along with the entire house, ending the terrible curse that had haunted her for so long. At the end of the film, Gita brought Nina to live in an abandoned house far away from their old home. The girl's legs returned to their former condition. Suddenly, the nearby closet door began shaking violently. Gita walked over and opened it, startled to find Ranti's old blood-stained dress somehow had reappeared here. Outside the window, the shadowy figure of the mysterious old woman flickered in and out, as if she had found the next chosen bride. The film ends here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exciting upcoming films. Thank you and goodbye.